Hello, everybody. Back. This is going to be the third video in how to play basics for Empires in the Millennium. And in this video, we're going to do the sequence of play. So let's get our vassal back up. And of course, I left it as a big sloppy mess from last time. Get some of these cards back. It doesn't really matter. Throw them all out of here. Just need kind of 3 event cards to show you what we're doing here. But check out the other videos if you want to learn how the pieces work, how the cards work, what everything means on the map. And then I'll get this one done, which should hopefully show you how you can work through the sequence of play to play the game. And then after that, maybe we'll do some introduction to the different factions and their options. And then once we have all that done, you'll be ready to play by watching the videos. And then maybe I'll get my act together and get the actual rulebook done as well. Who knows? There's always hope. So got the cards cleared out of the way. The sequence of play is here at the bottom, okay, of the screen. And when you first start the game, your sequence of plays is going to be a random order. So I kind of randomize these to start us. So we're going to go blue, green, purple. Goes in first, second, third. And red, black, and yellow, fourth, fifth, sixth. Okay, everybody's got 10 in their economy. We'll do that to show you how the passing impacts your economy. If you need money, you can pass and gain some bucks if needed. And these are the 3 cards we're dealing with. So the rightmost card is card A. The center card is card B. The leftmost card is card C. Card A, the first 3 eligible factions will be eligible on. Card B, Ibn al-Mubarak, the next 3 factions will be eligible on. Okay. The initiative option goes to the first faction, and based on what they pick, primary only, primary and special, or event are their 3 options. Then the remaining factions will be tied to secondary and tertiary options based on what the initiative option was taken. Okay. The blue pairs, the Franks, the Narwan Canal doesn't help them. And so they're going to take the initiative option to start the game of primary and special. Okay, so this is the card that's up, but this is the selection for the initiative option, not the event, but the blues are going to take a primary plus special turn. What a primary plus special means is that the Franks, if we pull up their action menus, here are their primary actions. The Franks can choose a primary action. So they have 5 to select, and they can do any of these 5 in any number of spaces, limited only by the money they have available to pay for the action. But you can only do one type of action in a primary. And then they can pair with that a secondary action. I can figure out how I did this here. I lost my blip here. No, Frank special actions. There we go. The Frank is special actions. They also have 5. Okay. And special actions don't have a cost associated with them, and generally can do them in any number of spaces as well. And the Franks will get to pair this special action with a primary action. I always call this, when I play coin, the big turn. So Franks are taking the big turn, which means they're going to do a lot by taking the selection. Note also, you can do these in either order. And you can interrupt your primary action to do some special actions. So say you wanted to muster a bunch of cubes, but you didn't have enough money to muster them because you have to pay $1 per each cube placed. Well, the Franks could place a couple cubes and then tax so that they could try and gain more money and then place more cubes in a muster after they tax. Okay, so you can do those in any order. You could do your special first and then do a primary after. So lots of little strategic tinkering you can do during your turn for that. Okay, I'll pull up the wrong thing there. So if the Franks take that, then the second selection goes to the Fatimids, and they can take a limited option or they can take an event. Let's just say the Fatimids are playing the long game here and eventually want to take over the Middle East, and they like the idea of giving more economy to those locations because they're planning on taking them over. So they're going to take the event of Narwan Canal. Okay, this event has been played. So once it's been played, it gets discarded and no longer in the game. Okay, the Fatimids would follow the instructions on the event card and do those instructions to the best of their ability on the map. And then next up is going to be the Byzantines, purple. So the Byzantine faction is now sort of stuck because they're in the tertiary position. And all they can do now is either take a limited option or they can choose a pass, right? What is a pass option going to do? Well, it sort of depends on the state of play where you're at in the game. But the pass option is going to get you money and is going to put you on a different card to play on. Okay? Now, if the Byzantines just choose to pass to this box, that's going to make them the first player on card C, which is going to be La Manche. Okay? And they also, because of the instructions on the box, will gain $1. So they're going to decide to do that instead of take a limited, and you bump their economy up by, well, you don't bump their economy up yet, and I'll show you why. But if they remain in this spot, their economy gets bumped up by $1. Okay? That's the 3 factions done. The green faction moves to second, Fatimans to second, because they were the secondary actor on the card, secondary to second, okay? And blue Franks were the primary actor on the card, they'll go primary to third. So they go to this box. Green goes to that box. They are now ineligible. They cannot play in the next card. All right, now red, it becomes our initiative faction. Ibn al-Bumarik slides to card A. La Manche to card B. And card C is going to be Belial. Only at sword point can Satan be restrained. So Belial will be the C card. And now this is going to impact the pass decisions for these factions during this sequence. Okay. First faction are the Norse. Ibn al-Mubarak involves sort of helpful for the Abbasids and the Byzantines off the bat. So the Abbasids are happy to take that as the event. The Norse don't care. Now the Norse could move to primary only, and this would prevent the Abbasids from taking the event. Why is that? Well, because the Norse took the primary only option in this turn, the Abbasids selections are limited to a limited option, or they can pass themselves. All right, so the Norse are going to do that. They're going to play a primary only. What does primary only mean? That means that they can only select a primary action. Okay, so if we go back to those player aids and pull up the Norse primaries, they can do one of the primary actions, muster, raid, build, activate neutrals, march, naval raid, but they can't do a special action along with it. Okay, so they're limiting themselves to just taking the primary action, but they can do it in any number of spaces they can pay for. So it's an unlimited number of spaces, but you can only do the primary action. Right, so the Norse will do that. And let's say they do naval raiding or something around the map. And that leaves the Abbasids with a decision to take a limited option or to pass themselves. Well, the Abbasids are going to take the limited, they decide. And what a limited option means is that you're limited to one space. Now, you can perform any of your actions. This is a little different than coin, where you usually can't do a special action or a secondary action. You could pick one of the Abbasid special actions to do as your limited option. And they're free, right? But the flip side of that is you can only do it within one space. So if you want an emissary, for example, move Fatimid cylinders between adjacent locations, you can only pick one adjacent location to move a cylinder into, to move cylinders into. Or campaign, you could only campaign in one space. Naval raid, you can only go across one sea route to raid. Okay, so that's what the limited option means. Specials you wouldn't pay for in a limited, but your primary actions you still have to pay for, as listed on the instructions. So if you muster in one space, you're still paying for cubes when you do a limited action. Okay, so the Abbasids are going to take that limited action. Let's say they mustered or something. And that leaves the Umayyad yellow disc to decide if they want to do Ibn al-Bumarik event, which isn't very helpful to them. They can't do the event because they've been frozen out by the red, but it wasn't very helpful to them anyway. So they're really choosing between whether they want to come here and do a limited play and take a limited action, primary or special, or if they want to go into the pass game. Umayyads are feeling like they want to mess with the other players to start the game off, and so they are going to go into the pass. Now, the Umayyads have an option to pass. Okay, they can pass here, which is going to be the La Manche card, right? The next card up. They could pass to that card and push the Byzantines out of the way. Or they can just pass here to third, skip their turn. Pass here to fourth, tertiary fourth place. Skip their turn. This is going to put them to playing on the Belial card. And they'll gain pass here $3. So they'll gain $3 by being in this spot when we reset the discs. Now, the Umayyads are going to screw with the Byzantines, so we got a nice example. So they are going to pass here, and that slides the Byzantines out. And you see I drew a little crude arrow, which the Byzantines follow this path now. Okay, so if you get pushed out, if forced from first, move to 6 plus $3. What that means is now the Umayyads are getting $1 pass and are moving on to this card, La Manche, whereas the Umayyads are getting, the Byzantines are getting $3 now to pass and are moving on to this card, Belial. Also, because they've been pushed out, they're now the 6th player, right? So they're now active on Ibn al-Mubarak, and they get an option, which is a limited option in this case, but they get the option as the tertiary player over here, right? So this allows the Byzantines to do something on this card, as well as getting the $3 for getting pushed out of the pass situation. So the Byzantines will do that. They get their 3, 1, 2, 3, and they'll take a limited. The Umayyads get their $1 for passing, and they come over here to be the first player. And after the Byzantines do their limited action, they're going to become the tertiary player and move into 4th. Abbasids are going to be the secondary player, move into 5th. And the Norse are going to be the primary player and move into 6th. Once that's done and all the factions are ineligible, and the card has been removed into the discard pile, this one slides up. Belial is second. Battle of Talas will be the 3rd card, the C card now. Okay, you reset all the factions in order. So everybody becomes eligible. Once everybody's ineligible, then everybody goes back to eligible. Everybody's eligible again. And now the Umayyads have the initiative option on this card. And on and on and on. Okay? You keep playing like that. Now the end of epoch card right now is frozen over here in the draw pile. How it's going to work on the tabletop is that it'll be seeded into the last, within the last 3 cards. Among the last 3 cards of the epoch. Each epoch has 12 cards. So the end of epoch card could come after card 9, 10, 11, or 12. Okay? And it basically gives you like, on a roll of 1 or 2, the epoch will be the next card up. That's how I've been playing it on the Vassal. What does it mean for us? Okay, so let's say we've played through several cards, and we've played La Manche, and so we're going to discard that one. And then the next card we draw from the event pile instead of event is the end of epoch card. Okay, so that means Belial slides up, Battle of Talas slides up, and the end of epoch card slides up. Okay, so that's now the C card. Nothing in the draw pile remains for the first epoch cards. Okay? Factions do their thing over here, and then Belial is done, so we discard that. Battle of Talas slides up to the A card. The end of epoch slides up with it. So we know the end of epoch's coming and we can prepare for it. And then epoch 2 event, if I can find one. Of course I screwed this up. Draw a specific card. I don't know. Let's just go. Where's the... There we go. Event 44, let's say. 43, I don't know. Epoch 2. Oh, Dublin. Cool. Okay, so the Dublin card is going to be the first card of Epoch 2. You see the number down here. So you'll also be able to see where the first card of the next Epoch round is going to be. And what this will allow you to do is when you're making the decision on the last card before the end of Epoch phase, if you want to pass, say the Norse love the Dublin card because they want to found Dublin themselves, say they really want to get this card, and they're in a situation where they can play or pass, they could pass over the end of epoch into being the first initiative faction on the Dublin card. That's the point in showing this card here at this stage of the game. Okay, so then when Ballad Talus is done, end of epoch moves into A, Dublin moves to B, epoch 2 events, which I screwed up. I'll just draw one here, 40, let's say, becomes card C, Dar el Harb, the House of War. So then we'll know that's coming too when we're conducting the end of epoch phase. But when the end of epoch card is in the card A slot, then we go through the end of epoch phase, which is like the propaganda round or the reset round. I'll do a little video on how we conduct that so you can see it happen. But that in general is how the sequence of play works, and how by moving your discs around and selecting these options, you get to do things on the map. So this is sort of a little game in Coin. It's like a nice little game within the game. How initiative works, how the events work, and whether you want to risk taking the event or passing in lieu of taking a big turn, or freeze out, the other players from taking a big turn. So there's a lot of tactics that go on in this zone. And hopefully by this introduction, you can kind of start thinking through how that works. Okay, I'm going to cut that one off here. And next one we'll probably do end of epoch phase or show you how the campaign works so we can start coming to grips with that. Thanks.